That's slow crawl.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your Ready Drive. I'm back at one of my favorite going spot locations because guess what? This review is literally a blast from the past for me. And it's all about this car right here. This is my new to me 1986 Chevrolet Corvette. This one, of course, is a manual and it has the C51 package. But before we get into this bright red version of America's Dream sports car, let's talk about what's going on here. Like I said correctly, new to me. Recently purchased the C4 Corvette. Special purpose for this, a special connection. I actually had a carbon copy of this car back when she didn't have the side scoop. That's been a style of Corvette design for so many years before this 1986 Corvette was born. Another fascinating thing about 86 was that was the first year the C4 had a convertible. 84 and 85 were only coupes. 86, you could have a coupe with a removable target top, or you could get yourself a convertible. And here's another little fun fact. The Corvette convertible paced the Indy 500, was the official pace car. So all convertible C4 86 Corvettes are deemed as being IndyCar pace car replicas. If you have a yellow one though, that is the purest because the car that actually paced the Indy 500 that year back in 1986 was bright yellow. Now you'll notice, like I said, we have a very rare setup. I have the actual painted top, and underneath the rear glass, which I'll show you when we pop this in a little bit, I have the glass target set top. So I have the two tops. A lot of times people lose one of them. Not all of them were optioned that way. Base stock was this. If you wanted to option in the glass top, that was extra money. You'll notice nice flush door handles, even going back to the 1980s. You pull up and you open up the door, you got that red trim all the way around, to the torque, and you could have a 4-speed automatic or a manual. My car has the manual, which I'm gonna have to zone. The reason why is it's probably one of the worst manuals ever created. It's made by Doug Nash. It's what's called a 4+3. So you have a 4-speed, and the top 3 gears have overdrive, automatic overdrive. But I love the way you can see the intake runners. Engine's a little hot. Almost forgot about that. And this was a huge departure from what was in 1984. 1984 was a crossfire injected engine. That engine was nothing but trouble. This was more reliable, and you had more horsepower. Just to put it in perspective for you, compared to the C3 Collector's Edition, which the 82 Collector's Edition was the last year of the C3 Corvette, that had a crossfire fuel injection system. That had 180 horsepower and only an automatic available. So when they came out with the C4, quite a bit more power for the time, and the return of the manual transmission. But this is what I love about 80s and 90s cars, is that when you have a fuel-injected car, you get to see all the goodies. The intake runners, the intake plenum, the fuel rail, the valve covers, the throttle body. It's all there. And that's what makes this car special. Now, if you want to talk about tech, digital display, this was one of the fanciest ones in the 1980s. And like I showed you, you could switch from oil pressure to oil temperature. You can go full to coolant temp, and then you even have your trip odometer and fuel MPGs. And then, of course, you get your tachometer, which, as you can see, increases. And then you have your speedometer on the left. Other than that, that's all the information that you get. But let's get to the cargo area, because I want to go for a spin and travel back in time. All right, guys, before we jump in, another thing I want to point out is that with this being a 1986 Corvette, it is the first year that it was required in the United States, the DOT required that all cars, including this one, had to have a third brake light. So this is the first introduction of the third brake light, and I think Chevrolet did such a good job mounting it up top I like it a lot better than anything that they could have done down here. The other thing that I love about the C4 is just the versatility. You have your rear glass that opens up with the struts. What I have in here is the optional block glass top. These tops go for about $2,500 in excellent condition, which obviously this one is with the low mileage that we have on my particular Corvette. So they go for around $2,500 because a lot of them are broken, a lot of them are lost, a lot of them are thrown out. Underneath here, you have storage space. You have about 10 cubes to the rear using this tab and mounting it in those two black locations in the corner there to have it so that it does not move around. Another little fun fact with this hatch is that when you look at a C3 Corvette, which remember C3, if you've been paying attention, goes from 1968 to 1982. The only year the rear glass on those cars would open up is 1982. All the other ones, 81, 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, so on and so forth, the glass is fixed. So that means if you want to put anything in the bag, it's got to go in through the door, through the glass door or the passenger door. Nice that they started it in 82 for some reason. I guess that was like a test year. And then they had it for all these